This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, students. Last class, I explained the numerical problems in Unit 2, that is stability of soil slopes. So with that, the Unit 2 in foundation engineering is completed. Now, in today's class, I am going to explain the third unit, earth retaining structures in foundation engineering. The Unit 3 in foundation engineering deals with the earth retaining structures. So this is an important unit, not only in foundation engineering, but also in all the competitive examinations. In all the competitive examinations, you have this syllabus of earth retaining structures, either in the gate examination or in the engineering service examinations, and also in the statewide competitive examinations. This syllabus, earth retaining structures, is included. So please go through these concepts of earth retaining structures, what we are going to study and what are the different concepts I will explain in the syllabus of this Unit 3. Now coming to this syllabus in the Unit 3, earth retaining structures, this is the syllabus in that Unit 3. In Unit 3, we are going to discuss the Rankine's theory of earth pressures. I will tell you later what is the earth pressure. I hope in the fluid mechanics you might have studied the water pressure. When a body is submerged in water, the water applies pressure on the body. That is called water pressure. Similarly, when the structure is in contact with soil, please everyone listen this carefully. We studied in fluid mechanics about that water pressure. When the body is in contact with water, either partially submerged or fully submerged, the water applies force on the pressure on the body. That is called water pressure. In fluid mechanics, in Unit 2, we studied the concept, fluid pressure in bodies, horizontal body, vertical body, and also curved bodies, curved surfaces. Similarly, when the structure is in contact with soil, the soil applies pressure on the structure. That is called earth pressure. We will discuss the earth pressure in Unit 3. So, at first, please understand, when the structure is in contact with the soil applies pressure on the structure. That is called earth pressure. In Unit 3, we are going to discuss how to calculate the earth pressure acting on the structures. What are the different theories we have to find out the earth pressure magnitude on the structure? For that, we have some basic theories, the Rankine's theory, the Coulomb's theory. So like that, we have some theories to calculate the magnitude of earth pressure, that is soil pressure, acting on the structure. We know that the soils are two types, oceanless soil and also cohesive soil. When the structure is in contact with the soil, either that soil is oceanless or cohesive soil, in both cases, the soil applies pressure on the structure. To find out that pressure magnitude, the soil pressure or the earth pressure magnitude, we have different theories. One is Rankine theory, next one is Coulomb theory, and also the another one is Kalman's graphical theory. By using these theories, we can calculate that magnitude of earth pressure acting on the structure. And also in Unit 3, we are going to discuss how to calculate the earth pressures in layered soils. If the soil is layered soil, different types of soil layers, how to calculate that magnitude of the earth pressure. So this is the syllabus in unit 3. Now we are going to discuss what actually the earth retaining structure. If you see this unit 3 heading, the unit 3 heading is earth retaining structures. Here that earth means soil. So the earth retaining structures are soil retaining structures. When the structure is used to retain the soil. So please listen everyone. When the structure is used to retain the soil, we call that structure as a earth retaining structure. In civil engineering, we have some structures to support the soil. Retaining means supporting. We have some structures to retain the soil. Those structures are called earth retaining structures. Dear students, in unit 2, we studied stability of soil slopes. This is an important unit, so please everyone attend the class regularly and understand this concept of earth retaining structures. In unit 2, we studied stability of soil slopes. In that unit 2, we discuss the soil slope is stable in the flat condition. The soil slope is unstable in the steep condition. So, if the soil slope is a flat soil slope, that soil slope is always stable. Flat soil slope is always stable soil slope, but all the times the flat soil slopes are not possible. We cannot construct all the times the soil slope as a flat soil slope. Sometimes we have very steep soil slope, almost vertical. We know that if the soil slope is a steep soil slope, it is unstable. Definitely, the steep soil slope subjected to failure. So please listen this everyone. The flat soil slope is more stable, but the steep soil slope is more unstable. Sometimes we are forced to construct or we are forced to maintain. We mean civil engineers. Sometimes the civil engineers are forced to go for the steep soil slope. If the soil slope is very steep soil slope, to protect or to prevent the failure in that soil slope, steep soil slope, we provide a structure in front of that steep soil slope. A structure is constructed to protect or to prevent the failure in the steep soil slope. That structure is called earth retaining structure. So that is the meaning of earth retaining structure. It is a structure, but that structure is used to support only the soil, especially the steep soil slope. So the structure which is used to sustain, to support a steep soil slope is called earth retaining structure. The best example for this earth retaining structure is retaining wall. We have so many earth retaining structures, the sheet pile walls, the braced systems, like that we have different earth retaining structures. But the common earth retaining structure is a retaining wall. Definitely, you might have seen these retaining walls in so many occasions. So first of all, I am going to explain you what is this earth retaining structure, what is its importance, and what are the design concepts in earth retaining structures. So check this diagram please. Please everyone look this picture on the cell phones. In this picture, we have this wall, concrete wall. Check this concrete wall in this picture. This concrete wall is constructed to support this soil, not for another purpose. We construct this concrete wall to support only the soil. If this concrete wall is not here, this entire soil falls down, because just behind this concrete wall, this soil is vertical. Just behind this concrete wall, the entire soil is vertical. So if this concrete wall is not here, this entire soil starts moving downwards, subjected to failure. So we construct this concrete wall to support the soil on the back side. So this structure, this wall is a structure. This structure is constructed to support the soil on the back side. We call this concrete wall as a earth retaining structure. Earth means soil. This wall is used to support the soil on the back side. So we call this wall as a earth retaining structure. This is one type of retaining wall. This is the picture of retaining wall. This wall is constructed to support the soil on back side. The material this wall is supporting is soil. Since this wall structure is supporting, retaining the soil on back side, we call this structure as a earth retaining wall. Since this wall is supporting the soil on the back side, the soil applies pressure, horizontal pressure on this wall. This entire soil on the back side of the wall applies large horizontal pressure on the wall. We are going to discuss what are the methods available. Just now in the syllabus I explained. We have Coulomb's method. We have other methods. By using Rankine's method, by using those methods, we can calculate the magnitude of earth pressure acting on this wall. That earth pressure magnitude is used in the design of this retaining wall. This design of retaining wall, design means how much is the thickness of retaining wall, how much is the height of the retaining wall, how much reinforcement provided in this retaining wall. All those concepts, the entire design of retaining wall depends on the magnitude of earth pressure applied by this soil on the retaining wall. This is a simple example of the earth retaining structures. Check this another picture. Please everyone check your cell phones. Watch this another picture. Definitely you might have seen this type of wall in the ghat roads. When you are going to Tirumala, in the entire ghat road of Tirumala, you can observe this type of wall. You can observe this type of wall in the entire ghat road of Tirumala. This wall is used to support this soil slope. Check this top of the retaining wall. We have a soil slope, natural soil slope. Here this soil slope is natural. This is not man-made, artificial. It is not artificial. It is not finite soil slope. This is an infinite natural soil slope. Very, very, very steep soil slope. If this wall is not here, definitely this soil slope subjected to failure. It moves in the downward direction, causing the damage to this road. To prevent the failure of this soil slope, steep soil slope, we constructed this structure. This structure is supporting only the soil on backside. Only the soil. We designed this structure so that the structure should be stable. We designed this structure so that the structure should be stable for the earth pressure applied by the soil. Here also on this wall, this soil applies the pressure. By using Rankine's method, Kalman's method, Coulomb's method, we can calculate the magnitude of the earth pressure. How much earth pressure this soil applies on this structure. This structure is retaining the soil on the back side. We call this as earth retaining structure. This is a retaining wall. The purpose of this retaining wall is not to store the water. The purpose of this retaining wall is to support the soil on the back side. If this wall is not here, this soil slope subjected to failure definitely, because it is a steep soil slope. Definitely this soil slope subjected to failure. The entire soil moves downwards, landslide, causing the damage to this entire road. So to prevent that landslide, that is failure of the soil slope, and to support this soil slope, here we construct this retaining wall. This is a earth retaining structure. This retaining wall is supporting only the soil on the back side. Then this entire soil applies a large earth pressure, horizontal earth pressure on this retaining wall. So this entire soil applies a large magnitude of earth pressure, horizontal earth pressure on this retaining wall. So in the design of this retaining wall, what is the thickness of retaining wall? What is the length of the retaining wall? What is the length of this retaining wall? What is the thickness? How much is the reinforcement? In the design of this retaining wall, we must calculate first the earth pressure magnitude applied by this soil. Then only you can design this retaining wall. So these are all called holes, weep holes. These holes are provided to drain off the water flowing in this soil. In the rainy season, the water starts moving through the soil in the downward direction. If these holes are not there, that water applies extra force on the structure. The water flowing in this soil slope, that is seepage flow condition. We discussed that in the unit 2. In the soil slope, especially during the rainy season, the water moves parallel to the soil slope in the downward direction, seepage flow. So these holes are provided in this retaining wall to allow free movement of water in this soil. If these holes are not there, the water starts stagnating on the backside of the wall, that is inside the soil. Inside the soil, the water starts stagnating. That water applies additional force on the structure. So the structure is subjected to failure because of that additional water pressure. So by providing these holes, we are allowing the free movement of water in this soil in downward direction. So when the water is moving freely, the water does not apply additional stress on the wall. So this wall is stable. So that is the main reason of providing those holes along this length of the wall. These are called weep holes. Almost in the retaining walls, we have these weep holes. They allow the movement of water in the soil in the downward direction, so that no water pressure acting on the structure. Only the structure subjected to the horizontal soil pressure. So that is the purpose of providing those weep holes in the retaining structure. So first focus on that retaining wall. Here this structure is called earth retaining structure because it is used to support the soil on the back side. So we are calling this structure as a earth retaining structure. This is the retaining wall. In the design of this retaining wall, when you are designing this length of the retaining wall, the major force or the major stress acting on this retaining wall is the earth pressure from this soil. The soil behind the retaining wall applies a large magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the structure. By knowing that horizontal earth pressure magnitude, we can design the structure. The length of the structure, the height of the structure, the width of the structure, thickness, and also the reinforcement in the structure. I hope in your second semester, you have advanced reinforced concrete design. In that already, you might have studied this design of retaining walls. I hope Gautami madam will explain that design of retaining wall. In that design of retaining wall, the major force is the force from the soil on the backside of the retaining wall. In this unit 3, we are going to discuss what are the different theories available to determine that magnitude of earth pressure or the soil pressure acting on the retaining walls. Then check this another diagram, simple diagram. But what you have to observe is, check this soil slope behind the retaining wall. It is a very steep soil slope. If this wall is not here, definitely this soil slope subjected to failure. Because it is steep soil slope, it is more unstable, the steep soil slope. To prevent the failure of this steep soil slope, we construct this retaining wall. This is a earth retaining wall, earth retaining structure, because this structure is supporting only the soil, not the water, not the other material. So this particular structure, this is a wall. This structure is a wall. Here this structure is supporting only the soil material. Since this structure is supporting only this soil, we call this structure as a earth retaining structure. And here this structure is called retaining wall. So in the design of this retaining wall, as I mentioned number of times, in the design of this retaining wall, first of all, we must find out the earth pressure magnitude, horizontal earth pressure magnitude from this soil. This entire soil, the entire soil in contact with this structure applies large earth pressure on this structure. First of all, we must calculate that earth pressure magnitude on the structure. Then only we can design the structure. So these are all the examples of the earth retaining structures. Now with this introduction, we are going to discuss the concepts in unit 3. So please follow those concepts in unit 3. So check this diagram please. Just now I explained the earth retaining structure, the retaining wall is a earth retaining structure. The purpose of this retaining wall is to support the soil on the backside. So check this soil here. On the backside of this retaining wall, the soil is entirely vertical. If this retaining wall is not here, this entire soil subjected to failure. It moves forward and this entire portion of soil is under failure. To prevent the failure of this entire soil, we provided this retaining structure, earth retaining structure. We call it as retaining wall. The purpose of this retaining wall is to support the soil on the backside. Check this soil surface in contact with retaining wall. This is the soil surface, entirely vertical. Please imagine if this retaining wall is not here, this entire soil, vertical soil, starts moving downwards. Definitely, because this is the vertical face, it is not stable. It starts moving downward. It causes the failure of this entire portion of soil. To prevent that failure, we construct this earth retaining structure called retaining wall. And at the retaining wall, to allow free movement of water in this material. In the rainy season, the water flows in this soil material because soil is permeable. To allow free movement of water in this soil, we provide these weep holes in the retaining wall. Sometimes at the middle also, we provide the weep holes in the retaining wall to allow the free movement of water in this soil. Just listen everyone. The retaining wall is supporting the soil on the back side. This entire soil on the back side of retaining wall is called backfill material. This term backfill material is the soil behind the retaining wall. So it is the soil mass. Backfill material is the soil mass supported by the retaining wall. And in this diagram, check this carefully. On the back side of the retaining wall, we have the soil, and on the front side of retaining wall also we have the soil. So this retaining wall is having the soil both on the front side and also on the back side. In the front side, it is small magnitude. It is of small depth, whereas in the back side, it is of large depth. So this entire soil applies horizontal pressure on the retaining wall. Not only on the back side, in the front side also, this portion of soil applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. We are going to discuss how to find out, how to calculate the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall from this backfill material. So that is the main concept in Unit 3. So please go through this diagram. This is the purpose of the weep hole. The holes provided on the retaining wall to allow the movement of water in this retaining wall. If this weep hole is not here, the water is on the back side of the retaining wall. It accumulates. If this weep hole is not there, the water in the soil is accumulated, built up in the back side. That water also applies the force on the retaining wall that causes the failure of this retaining wall, water force. In order to remove that water force, we provide these weep holes, so they allow free movement of water from the soil. So once this entire water moves out, there is no water pressure in the retaining wall. Only the retaining wall subjected to the horizontal earth pressure from this backfill material. So that is the purpose of providing these weep holes in the retaining wall. So this is the concept of earth retaining structures. With this, we are going to discuss the concepts in Unit 3. Coming to this introduction of Unit 3. Check this introduction point by point. Normally, we prefer flat soil slopes. The soil slope is stable when the soil slope is a flat soil slope. Always the flat soil slopes are safe soil slope, but sometimes due to space area restrictions and some other times due to some other reasons, we cannot maintain the flat soil slopes. We must go for the steep soil slopes. So in some circumstances, we are in a position to go for the steep soil slope. If the soil slope is a steep soil slope, definitely it is not stable. But to provide the stability to the steep soil slope, we construct a structure in front of that steep soil slope that is called retaining structure, earth retaining structure. The earth retaining structure supports the steep soil slope to prevent the failure of that steep soil slope. In that earth retaining structure, the major force acting on the earth retaining structure is the pressure from the soil. The soil applies the pressure on that retaining structure. So before going to construct the earth retaining structure, we must calculate how much horizontal earth pressure applied by the soil on that earth retaining structure. So here number of factors are there. the magnitude of earth retaining structure, the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure applied by the soil on the retaining structure depends on number of factors. So please read this second point. The magnitude of lateral means horizontal. The magnitude of horizontal earth pressure from the soil on the retaining structure depends on number of factors such as the movement of the retaining wall. This is important, please. So please everyone read this second point carefully. The magnitude of horizontal earth pressure from the soil on the retaining structure depends on number of factors. What are those factors? First one is the movement of the retaining wall. What is this movement of the retaining wall? Up to this minute, you are thinking that the retaining wall remains in the same location. That is also true. The retaining wall always in the same position. But in certain cases, the retaining wall is having the movement. In some cases, please everyone listen this carefully. That's why I stress all of you to study that second point in that PPT carefully. So everyone please read the second point. The magnitude of lateral earth pressure. Lateral means horizontal. The magnitude of horizontal earth pressure. What is that horizontal earth pressure? We know that the earth retaining structure, that is retaining wall, supports the soil on the back side. Once that retaining wall supports the soil on the back side, then that soil is called backfill material. Just now I explained in this diagram. When the retaining wall supports the soil on the back side, we call this soil on the back side of retaining wall as backfill material. This soil, the soil on the back side of retaining wall applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. The magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall depends on number of factors. One factor is the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall depends on the movement of this retaining wall. Please don't surprise. This retaining wall is having horizontal movement. Most of the cases, the retaining wall is in rest condition. That is also possible. But that retaining wall is having horizontal movement. Why that retaining wall having that horizontal movement? Here, the horizontal movement of retaining wall is not kilometers. The retaining wall never moves horizontally by 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer. The retaining wall never moves horizontally by 100 meters or 50 meters. The retaining wall in the critical conditions, the retaining wall will have a horizontal movement of less than 1 centimeter. That is the most critical condition. Sometimes the retaining wall has the horizontal movement of less than 1 centimeter. That movement of retaining wall also affects the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. In this diagram, the retaining wall is supporting the soil on the back side, the soil on the front side also. So check this diagram, please. In the diagram, the retaining wall is supporting the soil on the back side and also in the front side. this backside soil applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. Check this please. This backside soil applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. Similarly, the front side soil also applies. This soil also applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. But the backside soil is large mass. Backside soil, large height. Front side soil, small height. So in the diagram, the backside soil applies large horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall compared to the front side soil. From this front side soil, we have less horizontal earth pressure, whereas from the back side soil, we have large horizontal earth pressure. Since this retaining structure, since this retaining wall subjected to large pressure from the back side compared to front side, in small cases, in one or two cases, this retaining wall has a little bit movement in the forward direction because of the large horizontal earth pressure on the back side. This retaining wall may have, it is not accurate place, it may have a little horizontal movement in the forward direction, in this direction, because of the large horizontal earth pressure on the back side. This retaining wall has a small movement in the forward direction like this. That movement of the retaining wall will affect the horizontal earth pressure on the back side and also on the front side. Because of the movement of the retaining wall, the earth pressure acting on the retaining wall will be affected. That is the first factor. So the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall depends on the movement of the retaining wall. The second factor is the flexibility of retaining wall. That is the second factor affecting the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. But most of the cases we assume the retaining wall is a rigid structure, so we can neglect this second factor, flexibility of retaining wall, that is neglected. And the third factor is the properties of soil on the retaining wall. You know that the retaining wall supports the soil, sometimes on the back side and sometimes both in the back and front side. The soil properties on the back side of retaining wall and also on the front side of retaining wall affect the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. These are the factors. Please keep in mind the factors affecting the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. What is the first factor? The movement of the retaining wall. Neglect the second factor. Flexibility of retaining wall is neglected because we assume the retaining wall as rigid structure. We can neglect this flexibility of retaining wall. Then the third factor is the properties of the soil. Fourth factor is drainage conditions. If the retaining wall has weep holes, the water flows freely in the downward direction, so the water will not apply additional pressure on the retaining wall. If those weep holes are not there, if the retaining wall does not have the weep holes, then the water in the soil applies additional stress, that is called water pressure, on the retaining wall. That is also horizontal. It should also be considered in the design of retaining wall. So in the retaining walls, the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall depends on the movement of the retaining wall, the soil properties, and the drainage conditions. Then we are going to discuss what are the different types of lateral earth pressures. Lateral means horizontal. What are the different types of horizontal earth pressures acting on the retaining walls? Now, before that, to find out the magnitude of lateral earth pressures or the horizontal earth pressures acting on the retaining walls, we have different theories. The first theory proposed by Coulomb in the year 1773. By using that Coulomb theory, you can apply this Coulomb theory both for oceanless soil and also cohesive soils. For those two types of soils, you can apply the Coulomb theory. We will discuss that in the further classes. What is the Coulomb theory? What is the equation of Coulomb theory to find out the magnitude of lateral earth pressures acting on the retaining walls? We will discuss that in the further classes. Then the next one is Rankine theory in the year 1857. Then Terzaghi also proposed the wedge theory to calculate the magnitude of lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall, that is in 1941. But we studied that Terzaghi wedge theory in this lateral earth pressure in the higher level, that is at MTech level. We will study what is this Terzaghi wedge theory to find out the magnitude of horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. So in this unit 3, we are going to discuss the Coulomb theory and the Rankine's theory to find out the magnitude of lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining walls. Now coming to this further concept in unit 3, different types of lateral earth pressures acting on the retaining wall. So please everyone check that heading carefully. Different types of lateral earth pressures. Dear students, just now I discussed with you. The lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall depends on the movement of the retaining wall. Just now I explained. The retaining walls may have the horizontal movement. So once again, please check the diagram. So in that previous diagram, the retaining wall supporting the soil on the back side, it also supporting the soil in the front side. But this backside soil is of large height. So this backside soil applies large horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall compared to this front side. Because of that large horizontal earth pressure on the back side, the retaining wall may have a small horizontal movement in the left side direction. So in this direction, this retaining wall may have a little bit of horizontal movement. Now please watch this diagram. When this retaining wall is moving in the left side direction, this retaining wall is moving away from this backside soil because of the horizontal movement. When the retaining wall is moving in the left side direction, the retaining wall is moving away from this backside soil. Then when the retaining wall is moving in the left side direction, the retaining wall is moving towards this front side soil. Please everyone observe this carefully. If and all this retaining wall is slightly moving towards the left side, little bit movement, less than 1 centimeter, even less than 1/10 of centimeter, that is also sufficient. So when that retaining wall in the diagram is having horizontal movement, small horizontal movement in the left side direction, in this direction, left side direction, then this retaining wall is moving away from this material, soil. From this back soil, the retaining wall is moving away. Then to this front side soil, the retaining wall is moving towards, because it is moving in the left side direction. it is moving towards this front side soil, but it is moving away from the back side soil. Since the retaining wall here, please everyone observe, the retaining wall, we are assuming it is not real, please. We are assuming that this retaining wall is having some millimeters, like 10 millimeters or 15 millimeters of horizontal movement in the left side direction, like in this direction. If this retaining wall is having small horizontal movement in the left side direction, then this retaining wall is moving away from this soil in the back side. The retaining wall is moving towards the side in the front side. When the retaining wall is moving away from the soil, that is called active condition. Please listen this carefully. When the retaining wall is moving away from the soil, that condition is called active condition. When the retaining wall is moving towards the soil, that is called passive condition. So in the retaining walls, we have three types of conditions. Sometimes the retaining wall remains in the same location. You can take that also here. If this retaining wall remains in the same location, it is called the rest condition of retaining wall. That is the first condition, rest condition. Remains in the same location, no horizontal movement. But sometimes this retaining wall, due to construction defects, due to large earth pressure on the backside, sometimes this retaining wall may have a small horizontal movement, some millimeters, not even centimeters also, some millimeters. That retaining wall may have horizontal movement due to construction defects and due to the large earth pressures acting on the backside of the retaining wall. In few cases, the retaining wall may have a small horizontal movement. In that horizontal movement, if the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill material, if the retaining wall, what is that backfill material? The soil supported by retaining wall. The soil supported by retaining wall is called backfill material. If the retaining wall is moving away from this backfill material, that condition is called active condition of backfill material, active condition. Then if the retaining wall is moving towards the backfill material, in the front side also, here in the diagram, in the front side also we have this soil. If the retaining wall is moving towards the soil, that condition is called passive condition. So the earth retaining structures are in three conditions. One is the rest condition, next one is the active condition, third one is the passive condition. Depending on the condition of retaining walls with respect to the backfill soil material, we have three types of lateral earth pressures acting on the retaining wall. This lateral means horizontal. Please keep this in mind. Lateral means horizontal. We have three types of horizontal earth pressures. That is, one is at rest earth pressure. It is at rest horizontal earth pressure. The second one is active earth pressure. The third one is passive earth pressure. So we have three types of earth pressures acting on the retaining walls. Three types of horizontal earth pressures acting on the retaining wall. Check this first sentence, please. The soil retained by the retaining wall is called backfill material. Just in the previous diagram, I explained that. The retaining wall supports the soil. The soil supported by retaining wall is known as the earth retaining structure. The soil supported by retaining wall is known as the backfill material. That is the first sentence. So please everyone read that first sentence, understand that first sentence carefully. The retaining wall supports the soil. The soil supported by or the soil retained by the retaining wall is called backfill soil. Sometimes the retaining wall moves away from the backfill. That is called active condition. Sometimes the retaining wall moves towards the backfill. That is called passive condition. Sometimes the retaining wall remains in the same location. That is called the rest condition. So we have three conditions of retaining wall with respect to the backfill soil. One is the retaining wall remains in the same location. That is known as the rest condition of retaining wall. Sometimes the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. That is called active condition. Sometimes the retaining wall is moving towards the backfill. That is called the passive condition. Depending on these three conditions of retaining wall. What are those three conditions? One is the rest condition. Next one is the active condition. Third one is the passive condition. If the retaining wall remains in the same location, that is called rest condition of retaining wall. If the retaining wall moving away from the backfill soil, it is called the active condition. If the retaining wall is moving towards the backfill, it is called the passive condition. So please everyone understand these three conditions of retaining wall. If you have any doubts, you please discuss with me. If you have any doubts, you please discuss with me. If you have any doubts, you please discuss with me. Any doubts, students, about these three conditions? If you have any doubts, you please discuss with me. About these three conditions of retaining wall: rest condition, active condition, and passive condition. You please discuss with me. Any doubts about these three conditions of retaining wall? Any one of you, please give me the response. Is my voice audible to you? Is my voice audible to you? Please give me the response.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubts about the three conditions of soil, three conditions of retaining wall? Any doubts about the three conditions of retaining wall? One is rest condition. The retaining wall remains in the same location. The retaining wall remains in the same location. That is called rest condition. The second one is the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill soil. That is called active condition. The third one is the retaining wall is moving towards the backfill soil. That is called the passive condition. Now please everyone listen. We know that the backfill soil applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. Depending on the condition of the retaining wall, the retaining wall subjected to three types of lateral earth pressures. Depending on the condition of retaining wall, the retaining wall subjected to three types of earth pressures. One is the earth pressure on the retaining wall at rest condition. Next one is the earth pressure on the retaining wall in active condition. Third one is the earth pressure on the retaining wall in passive condition. So like that, the retaining walls subjected to three types of earth pressures from the backfill soil. One is at rest earth pressure. It is horizontal or lateral. So the first one is at rest, lateral or horizontal earth pressure. The second one is active, lateral or horizontal earth pressure. Third one is passive, lateral or horizontal earth pressure. So like that, the retaining walls are subjected to three types of lateral earth pressures from the backfill soil. One is at rest earth pressure. Second one is active earth pressure. Third one is passive earth pressure. Now I am going to answer the questions raised by the students. So some questions raised by the students are, what is the pressure from soil? The wall is stable. Yes. The first question raised by regular 125. The pressure from soil. The wall is stable. Yes, the wall is stable. We are designing that wall by knowing the magnitude of pressure from the soil. By using Coulomb theory, by using Rankine theory, or by using Terzaghi wedge theory, first we can calculate how much earth pressure acting on the retaining wall from soil. By knowing that earth pressure, we can design that retaining structure, retaining wall. So definitely the retaining wall is stable. Then in between the wall, why the holes are provided? Those are the weep holes to allow water move freely in the downward direction. Without those weep holes, without those holes, the water remains in the backside of retaining wall. That water applies pressure on the retaining wall. So the retaining wall is subjected to extra pressure from the water. Sometimes it leads to the failure of retaining wall. To prevent that water pressure on the retaining wall, we provide the weep holes in the retaining wall. Then the third question is, what is the third question raised by 125? It is a large construction. How we know? The movement is in millimeters only. We are discussing the theory, but in the actual construction, by observing the soil volume either in the back side of the retaining wall or in the front side of retaining wall, we can estimate whether the retaining wall is moving forward or backward. So by observing the field conditions, we can estimate how much horizontal movement the retaining wall may have in the real condition. Only few millimeters. The retaining wall may move horizontally only by few millimeters, not more than that. So this is one theoretical concept. We are assuming the retaining wall has the horizontal movement. Depending upon that horizontal movement, the retaining wall is in active condition and also the retaining wall is in passive condition. These two are the extreme conditions. The horizontal movement is the extreme condition of retaining wall. If the retaining wall supports large soil on the backside, definitely the retaining wall may have few millimeters movement in the forward direction. So by observing that volume of soil supported by the retaining wall in the design, we can consider whether the retaining wall is moving forward or backward direction. That is as per the knowledge of the civil engineer. So in this unit 3, we are discussing the three conditions of retaining wall. the retaining wall is in rest condition. Most of the cases, retaining wall is in rest condition. Most of the cases. If and all, the retaining wall is having the movement. Retaining wall is having the movement away from the backfill. That is called active condition. If the retaining wall is having the movement towards the backfill, it is called the passive condition. For all these three conditions, we must calculate the magnitude of lateral earth pressure. Then larger of these three values, the rest earth pressure, the active earth pressure and the passive earth pressure, larger of these three values is considered in the design of retaining wall. So in order to understand these three conditions of retaining wall in unit 3, we consider all these conditions. So we consider the retaining wall is in rest condition, the retaining wall is in active condition, the retaining wall also is in passive condition. For all these three conditions, we are going to discuss the equations of lateral earth pressure. Then the maximum of these three pressures is considered in the design of retaining wall. So that is the purpose of considering the movement in the retaining wall. Apart from that, no other importance. Actually, the retaining wall remains in the same location. It is a massive structure. It may not have horizontal movement. But if and all it happens during the earthquakes or during some other reasons, if and all the movement happens, what is the active condition earth pressure, what is the passive condition earth pressure, which one is larger, that value we must consider in the design of the retaining wall. For that purpose only, in this theory, unit 3, we consider these three conditions of retaining wall. Rest condition of retaining wall, active condition of retaining wall away from the backfill, passive condition of retaining wall towards the backfill. Depending on that three conditions of retaining wall, we have three types of earth pressures acting on the retaining wall. One is at rest lateral earth pressure, second one is active lateral earth pressure, third one is passive lateral earth pressure. Okay students, with this I am going to stop the today's class. Tomorrow we will discuss the remaining concepts in unit 3. With this I am stopping this today's class. If you have doubts, you please discuss with me. Otherwise, you can leave from the class.